Welcome to Module 9. In this module, we're going to discuss when price ranges between the TNT high and low. When can that happen? If you have a TNT strategies, all of the strategies we discussed up to this point, they all enter on the next bar. Let's say it never entered on the next bar, or if it did and did not close out to be real at all. In all those situations now, what happens is that the TNT high is a major resistance and the TNT low is a major support. So now price is going to range between that TNT high and low until it breaks out. When it breaks out, we specify that with a yellow bar. And that's why we call it a TNT range bar, because it's telling us when we broke out the TNT high or low. Let's go for the background for TNT ranging. As we mentioned, price does not break the TNT high and low on the next bar, okay? And if it doesn't break it on the next bar, or if it does break it and doesn't turn out to be real, you're now going to start ranging between the TNT high and low, which is consolidating. You'll continue to range until price breaks the TNT high and low. When price breaks this TNT high and low, the bar will be colored yellow, okay? If there is a setup at that point, entry dots will be shown on the next bar. If there's no setup when the yellow bar occurs, you will not get any entry bar dots at all. So some yellow bars will have entries on the next bar, some won't. It depends if there's a setup situation there or not, okay? Either way, if you have set up entry dots, you need to make sure there's a shade at the entry. Not on the yellow bar, but at the entry. By default, you will not be able to see the yellow bars. So you have to go into the vIMTF configuration and enable it. Once you go into the configuration, you'll see this here in the input section. Click on Show Range TNT. Once you've done that, you'll see all the yellow bars. Here's an example of a yellow bar, and on the next bar, it does not print the entry dots at all. So there's no setup at all. However, this yellow bar here broke that TNT high, and that's why it's yellow. Now, even though there's no setup here, I would pay attention to this for the next couple of bars, because a setup opportunity could develop soon. So when I see a yellow bar with no entry dots on the next bar, I'm patiently waiting after that for a setup to start to occur. Here's an example of a yellow bar, and you do have setup dots on the next bar here. So here you will set up a trade here. This will be a TNT yellow bar range strategy, and you'll follow the same rules as you do with all the other TNT strategies completely, okay? If you look here on the next bar, here are the results here. So you entered here, you follow the same rules. This first bar has to be profitable, so it has to close above the entry, which it did, past the first bar. Second bar, V closes above the entry, past the second bar completely. Third bar here, you could go to break even or maintain the red stop. Blue line starts. Arrow does not appear because this is not a TNT strategy. So this arrow will not appear below the yellow bar at all. And if you look forward here, keep on going. You could adjust your stop here to the yellow bar low. If you did, you keep on adjusting here, you would get out there at when it got to the stop, or at the end of the bar, there's no blue line, so you would exit the trade. So this is a range trade here that was successful, that went up. This here was the first bar that closed above the TNT high, and that's what you have right here in this example. And here's another example here of a TNT range bar. This here broke the TNT high there. You had setup dots in the next bar. You entered right there. It passed everything. Kept on going. Blue lines right there. You would adjust your stop right there. So either you get stopped right there, or you waited to the end of the bar and you got stopped out. Either way, this is a profitable trade. Here's an example of where you have a yellow bar, no setup strategy at all on the next bar at all. So even though there's no setup strategy for the yellow bar here, as I mentioned, you look for another strategy to start. So it could be an IMTF strategy or a vIMTF strategy that typically starts after this bar appears, and it will typically be between 1 to 3 bars later. So I would pay attention, even though this doesn't have entry dot on the next bar, I would pay attention to see if there is a IMTF, vIMTF, or CIMTF strategy that starts to occur right after that. And you could see there was an IMTF strategy right there that started. So when you have a yellow bar that does not have entry dots after that, it's telling you there's a possibility, a high possibility of a strategy coming compared to a yellow bar that does have entry there already. This now concludes Module 9, which is the TNT Range strategy, which covers the yellow bar. There's two types of yellow bars. One that has setup entries after the yellow bar and one that doesn't. The one that has entries right after that gives you an opportunity to enter right away. If a yellow bar does not have entry dots, then you should look for within the next 3 bars for some other type of strategy. It could be another vIMTF strategy that comes along, an IMTF, or even a CIMTF strategy. But there's high probability that a strategy will come within 3 bars. And if it is, it's a great opportunity to make a good reward risk ratio.